Hello everybody, and welcome back to my Let's Play Victoria 2. It's me, DarkPhoenix Ninja 92. Last time we left off, we continued a bunch of construction projects to build railroads all over Spain's mainland and some of its colonies. We can't even call ourselves an empire at this point because we're barely avoiding bankruptcy half the time. Which means I'm afraid that it's likely going to be my second option on the description of the playlist that comes true. We're likely just going to peter out into nothingness. I can't even get us back into great power status, which I am not amused about. There's also a rebellion in Cuba that we put down, several in fact, as well as a Carlist uprising in both Cuba and Morocco. Not even nationalists, but those bastards who want someone else on the throne. And we were looking examining, shall we say, our territory out here in Asia, what else we could colonize. On. I could have sworn that I had some military units stationed out here. In fact, I know I did. But the game's telling me we only have 3 armies. What happened? Oh. When we released the Philippines as a satellite, they got those armies. That's annoying. But it leads into my next objective, which I'm going to have to make a few changes to. Military, build army, and I want... I wanted to build one in the Pacific, but I cannot do that. And right now we're researching machine guns to move us towards colonizing in Africa and bits of Asia. So... let's see here. Build army. La Coruna and Cuenca. I don't know where those places are. Let me see. And I don't think mobilizing would be a particularly good idea. Those are all in Europe. The fact that we don't have soldiers in the Pacific anymore is going to be a problem. So, I am going to build 2 infantry. And beyond that, we'll simply wait. But this will be a little annoying because then I will have to ship my troops out to the Pacific region. Still, it's better than having no garrison out there. And we've got an increase to morale from one of our techs. Yeah, it's better that we have some garrison out there, even if I have to decrease the number of soldiers that I have in the Spanish homeland. I might have to... yeah, I might might actually send those 15,000 troops to the Pacific. That's 3,000 there and 3,000 there. 6,000 infantry. One of our generals died. We have more tax efficiency. Yada yada yada. That's 6,000. I'm going to split up my armies. And I will be leaving 9,000 in the Spanish mainland. Mobilization size increase. I'll be sending these 12,000 troops out to the Pacific. Figure out which fleet of my transports in it. That's only 3 transports. We'll see how many they can take at once and how many ships I'm going to have to send on a long journey back to Europe to be able to move this 12,000 strong army, because I have somewhere I want to conquer. It's only going to leave behind 1 regiment, so only 1,000 men. I can bring 11,000. No, I can bring 9,000. That game lied to me. Let me check. Does my Caribbean force have any transports? It does. So that's what I'm going to do. This my Caribbean fleet will be moving its ass, and we will have them show up in Europe. They may have to repair a bit of attrition. Oh, we have newspapers. War between the Ottomans and Egypt. I'm not surprised. And Russia likes Egypt now. And we are not fans of the Portuguese. Before, when we were a great power once, as I was saying, we were a great power once, and they were in our sphere of influence. But that has changed. And there is a Carlist rebellion going on. So I think it's time for the military spending to hit maximum. Then we will crush the rebel scum. We have an army of 15,000 in Morocco that we can use to deal with those. Or the French will do it for us. Thank you very much, France. I might decide to not go to war with you if you ever appear weak. If you keep that up. We're going to have to wait to repair our ships before we can move this army into the Pacific, and from there, into the Caribbean, and from there into the Pacific. And this army is going to be having a little word with the rebels. And I have one thing to say to you now. Fuck off. Taza is ours. You're not getting one bit of our colony. Where do we find this bit? Flashpoint tension is what I'm searching for. 55%. minus 0.10 every month. That may result in us getting involved in a great war, which could be bad. I'm not entirely sure how winnable one of those would be, even though we potentially have France and the Ottoman Empire on our side. It would be something of an issue. I'm not entirely certain how winnable something like that is for us. We are, and I really hate to admit this, but we are pretty much the weakest nation in all of Europe right now, with the exception of the Italian miners. And even some of them might be stronger than us. With the exception of maybe Belgium or the Netherlands or Bavaria, and one of those miners, we're the weakest nation in all of Europe right now. This could be a very serious problem. And the Ottomans are busy occupying Egypt. Our ally is doing well for themselves. It's 1871 and a year has passed. And the French have kindly put down this rebellion from the Carlists in North Africa for us. I appreciate this, France. And now we're waiting for our ship to finish repairing. An admiral is dead. But yeah, we're not accomplishing much of anything, I'm afraid. But that notice did say that we have good relations with Russia. Apparently we have too many great power allies. Who am I allied with? France and the Ottoman Empire. Well, the alliance with France has actually turned out to be pretty decent. Though I'm still relatively ticked off that they took this bit of North Africa from me. I would have liked to have that myself, honestly. But France does have the largest population in Europe, and can field pretty much the largest army of any nation, save the Chinese Empire. So they're a pretty good ally to have. That, and the fact that they've been pretty much tearing Great Britain a new one since the beginning of the game. Every single war that's happened where France and the British were on opposite sides, the French have occupied part of the British Isles. So, I for one am happy to keep France on my side. If they get into a war with Great Britain and drag me in, I'm hoping I'll be able to use the opportunity to occupy Gibraltar and some of the British stuff over here in the Caribbean. Maybe give them a little bit of a bloody nose. The Kingdom of Guyana. There's been quite a few government changes throughout the years, I see. And Chile and Argentina have been going at it quite a bit, apparently. British South Africa. But yeah, right now all I'm doing is waiting to see when my ship's finish repairing. And I'm going to partially lower my military spending just so that I have enough leg room that I can bring it back up fast. We finished machine gun research, which will give us access to the possibility to get colonial negotiations. Economic responsibility will be the next one. Because we want colonial negotiation, as that will give us the ability to colonize all of this empty space in Africa and the bits in Asia. And I'm hoping doing that will actually enable us to have a larger army and all of that. And we're going to... I'm actually going to read this. Big game hunting. Lions, elephants, giraffes, buffalo, panthers, and rhinoceroses. The magic and attraction of Africa certainly lies to no small an extent in its many and varied flora and fauna. Big game hunting has become a major attraction in Wujda, bringing in tourists and tax revenue to all of Taza. A proposal has surfaced that we invite foreign dignitaries to partake in the Wujda hunting. While this will certainly boost our international prestige, the locals might not be too happy about tourists trampling around in their plantations. I don't think we want militancy in Africa, and that's the place that's getting the flashpoint tension, so maybe this'll help. So no. And we just got colonial negotiations. Ethiopia goes to war with Egypt. We finished machine guns. So now we can start colonizing. We would be able to if I could find somewhere that requires a life rating of 15. Let's head to the Pacific and see if there's anywhere like that. There is. I'm going to do this. And let me see, can we need a naval base here, and then we can start colonizing all of these islands. But yes, we have started the colonial. We started colonizing 1872. So February 28th next year, we'll be able to create a protectorate here, bringing this into our empire. Poland, what's this crisis that's happening? That I want to know. Liberation of Belarus. And the British are backing Poland. No one gives a shit about the crisis, and my elections will be starting very soon. And we will stick with state capitalism because it will tick off the least amount of people. I tried to start changing people to laissez-faire, but no one was interested. So we'll stick with state capitalism, since it seems to have the most people interested in it. 5 people become atheists. We want to be secular. Nothing of real interest here, I'm afraid. We built another railroad. And we're going to keep on going here. I want to be jingoist, and I'm going to continue to try and make my people jingoists. Because I think that will be helpful. It's basically the idea that everyone's out to get us, so we'll get them first. And yes, that is what we go for. State capitalism, which more people support, we would go for. Just because. Full citizenship. And somehow everyone has a 0%. And it's 1872 now, and we have a coalition government. I still, despite having played about 50 to 60 hours of this game, I barely understand what I'm doing. And the British think they're going to get their asses kicked by France in a war, which is not unsurprising, seeing as France has been able to occupy British territory in the British Isles, no less, in every single war they've fought thus far. I'm not surprised that they have that fear. Now, let's see here. Our ships are not repairing as fast as I would prefer. Let me see here. I want to raise that. For the time being, I'm going to minimize my military thing and bring up the stuff for my ships, because I think that will let them repair faster if I have a bigger stockpile for them. And wait a second, it's past that date, I think. Create protectorate. Create protectorate. Spanish Asia. Oh yes. Yes, indeed. Brunei nationalists, though. Hell no. Hell no. The British are creating a protectorate out here. This does not surprise me. But I have some more territory in Asia now, and I'm going to deal accordingly. I need a life rating 10 to start colonizing there. Tax efficiency comes in. Let's see. Crisis averted. So yes, that whole thing. 100 across the board, and this fleet should find itself reasonably repaired soon. We found gold. We found gold. Bavaria has become a great power in place of the Ottoman Empire. Bavaria, really. I'm surprised Germany hasn't conquered them yet. They do have cores on the territory. And the Ottomans are kicking Egypt's behind. I imagine there's going to be another Ottoman-Egypt war in the future, and they'll take some of that stuff to connect both their territories. But for now, the Ottomans are getting into it with Ethiopia. Sorry, Egypt is getting into it with Ethiopia, yes. That's the one. We have one great power ally now, and Russia will still not form an alliance. And anarcho-liberals are taking over Scandinavia. Okay, campaign for Married Woman's Property Act. A married woman owns no personal property and her legal identity ceases to exist as husband and wife are joined in one person under law and marriage. We want to change this. We want women to be able to dispose of their own property as they wish. We want the courts of law to recognize a husband and wife as two separate legal entities. The suffragette movement in Spain has organized a rally in one of our states, campaigning for the rights of women to receive recognition and of the rights, deeds, and titles of property that they in many cases already de facto hold. So we could go end the stock market report and basically completely ignore it. Grenada gets more consciousness and becomes 20% more liberal, or this campaign for basic human rights needs to go national. I'm just going to ignore it because I want to start making Spain more liberal if I can. So in this case, just ignoring it is probably the best option. Now we have a lot of our ships that are not repairing at all. I wonder why. Transport. When did I ask you to move? Answer, I did not. Now... you guys can move over there. This. This should mean that I can get my ships repaired.